Let's see if we're able to get live now. And we are now, that is good. So we will get the next car out in qualifying. So far, we've had a couple of drivers run in this pre-qualifying session. Next up, I believe it will be Tyler Davison. Let's have a look. Next up is Carlo. So Carlo will go quickly, give you a quick rundown of what you may have missed so far in this pre-qualifying session. Carlo will be the next to leave the pits. Just waiting on him now. One of the Pune Motorsport drivers. For some reason he isn't moving anywhere. That's not a good sign. Wait a few moments here. And there we go, he's going now, so we get to see what Carlo can do. Let's see what Carlo can do now. The first 2 lap times that have been set by drivers so far have been a 27.428 for Elmery, as we see Carlo in the wall there, and a 27.082 for Afonso. So far, a bit of a gap between the 2 drivers, 4 tenths, so that does mean that definitely Afonso is locked into the field. Elmery is likely to be locked in, as we see Carlo coming across the line with a 27.643 first lap. Hopefully he can improve that. He did definitely make some more contact on the first lap, a bit cleaner through there this time. Let's see what the Italian driver can do. Makes his way through the flat out left, now through the flat out kink to the right. This is where we could see drama in the race. And he's going quicker than the purple lap time. Could this be the first lap time in the 26 here? Makes his way through the final curve. The run to the line, very short and sweet. What's it going to be for Carlo? He goes with a 26.969. That's a very nice lap time there for Carlo. And he will now return to the pit lane. And the next car can go, which would be Tyler. And I can now say Tyler, and he can now leave the pits. See him now, another one of the Motorsport cars having to go through pre-qualifying. He's going to make his way out onto the racetrack. And there we go, see his livery here. Getting up onto the racetrack now. I imagine he's probably one of the favourites to be comfortably thrown into the race. But we can now guarantee the 2 drivers are in. We've got some potential connectivity issues for one of the pre-qualifying drivers, which will be Clubby Glennon. And if she does miss the end of pre-qualifying, she will not make the race, and will mean all of the drivers who had to pre-qualify will make it work. Tyler Davison, he's going very quickly here on his first lap, making his way out of the final corner now. Across the line, Tyler Davison with his first lap time attempt, and it's going to be a 26.853, so he is going to go even quicker here. Very nice lap for the Briton. Let's see if he can improve it now. I don't know why I pointed out that he was British. You probably could guess from his livery. If not, that's concerning. Davison making his way through the final corner now. What can the Briton do? Can he improve the lap time? Can he guarantee himself an even better starting position for this race? Of the pre-qualifying drivers, he does improve to a .754. So yeah, very good lap there from Tyler Davison. And that is 4 out of the 5 pre-qualifying drivers done. The question now is whether or not Chloe Glenn's going to make it, and there's no sign of her here. We've passed the time prepared for it, and I will now announce the grid for today's race. Let's quickly get it up. And let me quickly finish this one off. So it will be in... So Tyler, as quickest in pre-qualifying, he will qualify on the 5th row on the outside. So the many race wins that come with Tyler Davison. We're starting down the order, but he has won here before, so I wouldn't put it past him being able to do it again. It is going to be Carlo Durante who starts on the inside of row 6. And on the outside of row 6, we will see... that will be Afonso Silva. And the final of the pre-qualifying cars will be Elmer Salo, who, despite setting a fairly not great lap, I think it's fair to say, he is going to make it the grid thanks to Chloe not being able to show up to pre-qualifying. So it's not a good sign for the Irish woman. And we will have a look at the final grid and what to expect from today's race. And yes, confirmation now that all the drivers can start filling into the lobby. So the front row for today's race, whilst we wait for them all to join, it will be Aston Lewis, the championship leader, on the inside with his teammate Adam Richardson on the outside. That's a front row we've seen many a time so far this season. Then comes Scott Sandover and Jono Mills on the second row of the grid, with Ben Driscoll and Seb Mills making up row 3. On row 4 we have George Hassart and Ridwan Hamza, with Dylan Graham and Tyler Davison making up row 5 there. You see the latter of those two, of course, making it through top pre-qualifier. Then we get on to row 6, which is Carlo Durante and Afonso Silva, with row 7 consisting of Elmer Solo and Matt Pulio, who has been put to the back of the grid after getting a back-of-grid penalty for actions in the previous race. Another driver with the same penalty, Julius Gassner. I apologise if that's the wrong way of pronouncing his name. But he is on row 8 on the left and will round out the grid as the 15th and final car in today's race. So we'll just wait now to see which drivers have made it in so far and who will have to wait on just a little bit. There's a few more loading in. The race should start by 15:15 at the very latest. So I believe we've got 12 in at least so far. Yep, 12 in, so we're missing 3 at the moment. I have to try and figure out who those 3 are. I'll just go through my list of drivers. So it looks like Ridwan Hamza is again missing tonight. Dylan Graham, is he here yet? Doesn't look like he is here yet, looking at this list. So we're missing Ridwan, Dylan, and one more. Someone's joining now. Who is that? That is Dylan Graham. Is Matt Pulio here? It's not looking like he is here yet. Missing him. So it is now just as Matt Pulio is now joining, so it is just Ridwan Hamza left not in. Afonso is loading in as well. Matt Pulio, is he in? I think that's just glitched there. It's showing him as Afonso. Yeah, because there's 2 Afonsos in the lobby. Lovely stuff from this game. Hopefully when he's out on track we'll see him as the right one. Just getting the last 2 drivers in now, and is it going to appear as... No, it's still appearing as Afonso Silva. As Aston Lewis has left the room now. We'll start in 3 minutes time, no matter what. So hopefully they'll all be in, as Matt Pulio is now in. That is now showing the correct car for him. Just wait a few more moments. We may have to go without Ridwan Hamza because it looks like he's not going to be making it tonight's race. Just wait a few more moments. Hopefully Aston Lewis will be back soon, and we can officially get today's race underway and do the first attempt at short track racing this season. So here are all the colourful liveries that we'll see racing tonight. Lots of reds in there, a couple of blues, a lot of greys and blacks. One very purple livery there for Johnny Mills with a cystic fibrosis car. Seb Mills is now also left, probably these two changing oil. We all start at 10 past, no matter what. Then you've got the black and orange cars for George Hassart and Dylan Graham. Silver and red funny F1 car for Scott Sander. He's a part of a free car team, although he's the only funny F1 driver to race so far this season, sadly for him. Has someone just joined the room? I'm guessing, yes, I imagine will be Aston Lewis as the first one to leave to go and change his oil. Wonderful stuff there. And then waiting on Seb Mills and hopefully Ridwan Hamza, but I'm not feeling confident, as it is of course not an especially nice time of day for the Australian driver. As that updates, Aston Lewis is in, and Seb Mills just coming in now as well. When he's loaded in, we can start the formation lap for today's race here in NASCAR GT Season 6, the Japan 150, and the BB Raceway track that has had a long history in NASCAR GT, debuted in the series as a reserve track after I believe it was Bathurst, which was originally on the Season 1 calendar. It's quite a crazy Season 1 calendar. After Bathurst was removed from the calendar, BB Raceway was one of the replacement tracks, along with Northern Ireland, another track that came in last minute as a replacement. Special Age Route X was originally had 2 dates on the Season 1 calendar. That got reduced to 1, and then eventually none after a couple of seasons. Probably for the best when you think about it. But that is it now for everyone in the lobby. It is time to start the formation lap for today's race. Just a few moments until we see this race get underway now. Hopefully, another exciting instalment into what has been an exciting season so far. Several contenders have proven themselves in the early races, but only one has managed to take victory, that being Aston Lewis, who won round 1 and round 2. But looking to try and make it 3 in a row today. Something that has not been done many times previously in the history of NASCAR GT. Only once has a driver scored 3 wins in a row to start the season. That was back in Season 2, and the 4th round of the season they did not win. And can you guess who won that race and ruined the streak? It was who else but Aston Lewis, the driver who now sees himself potentially trying to get that 3rd consecutive race win in a row here in NASCAR GT Season 6, looking to continue his performance this season so far. Driver's now just getting into the correct position, preparing for today's race. We've got our front row here, Aston Lewis on the inside, Adam Richardson on the outside. Aston Lewis once again mixing up the colours for this week's race. Started off with the green and gold of Phoenix Motorsports, then moved to the turquoise and grey of Nexus Racing, and now moved over to the pink, black and white of Macmillan Cancer Support, which is a very nice sponsor to have on the side of his car. Field is not quite bunched up yet by the looks of things, but hopefully if we look at this now, we'll get a view. Yes, we can go green this time. We will announce it in the chat. We'll look up to the front here. Aston Lewis, Adam Richardson lining up on the front row of the grid for today. Phoenix Motorsports 1 and 2. When will they go? They have gone. It's green flag racing in the Japan 150, and it's a launch and a half from Aston Lewis as he comfortably leads into the first corner. He slides on the exiters. That's Adam Richardson and Scott Sandover side by side. For Peachy, there's already got a spinner in the background. That looked like Elmarie Sala, who's gone around one of the pre-qualifying cars. He is all the way down in 14th. Phil, that's a big slide, a big crash. Ben Driscoll, has he managed to survive? No, they're spinning in the background. Who has gone around in this incident? It looks like Ben Driscoll has gone around. John O'Meara has been caught up in it, which means also Elmarie. That means 3 cars caught up in this lap 1 incident, and that will bring out, on lap 1, the first caution of today's race. 3 cars involved in an incident there, and the caution is out here in the Japan 150. Drama early on, and I'm hardly surprised by that. It's a very tricky circuit, and the fact that there's been some issues on the first lap just getting up to speed here is something that you can imagine quite easily done here as we just wait for the battlefield to make their way into an orderly fashion. 14 cars racing here this week. As we wait for Elmer to get in position, when he does, we can say green this time. They're not in position at the back, so I'm going to have to wait. They are now in position, so if we're quick, we might be able to get a green this time in. That's going to be tight. And we are racing again here. Green flag waves in the Japan 150, side by side for the lead. Adam Richardson on the outside, it's Aston Lewis on the inside. There's contact in the back, but it's the number 11 versus the number 7 up front. This is a battle we've seen several times this season, but the 11 surges out front here. Aston Lewis pulling away, as now we see that's Tyler Davison in the 57 car, who's made huge progress after starting 10th in this race. He's already making the move for 2nd. What a start to this race by the Briton. He comes out of the final corner there and will be immediately looking for the lead. In just 5 laps, he is going to be going potentially from 10th all the way up to the lead, but he's still got to fight with Richardson. Richardson's on the outside. He's spinning in the background. Who was that went flying down the racetrack? That looks like, who was it? It was Seb Mills. Seb Mills, fast one of the racing, goes around in the background. He drops down the order. Johnny Mills has survived all that drama. As out front, it is Aston Lewis, who leads ahead of Tyler Davison and Adam Richardson in 3rd place there, the number 7 car. Losing out a little bit there to Tyler Davison, which is he racing in the background. Got some door banging further back in the pack here. As they're racing all through the field. Matt Julio on his way up to 5th place. There's all this contact there between the 2-0 quality racing cars. We've got George Hassar up into P6. He's on a very strong run so far in this race. Driver who's not necessarily shown most amazing pace in his time in NASCAR GT, but he's steadily improving, and that's the real difference maker when league racing. It's the improvement, the potential that is there that makes the difference. So to see up at the front, Tyler Davison is taking the lead away from the 11 of Lewis. They side by side into the first corner. Lewis rams him into the wall. Lewis puts Davison into the wall, so the cars all over the place in the background. Davison will not be happy about that. He'll maybe be a bit more aggressive next time he tries to make the move for the lead. Lewis could already be getting himself in trouble here in just stage 1. He makes a very, very bold move on his rival there in the 57 car for Bune Motorsport. Bune Motorsport currently sitting bottom of the team's points championship. They are looking to just try and get some points on the board here. The bigger the better, but at the moment they're looking for a very nice race here today. In 2nd place with Tyler Davison, all over the back of the race leader Aston Lewis, trying to find his way past and to get out front here. He's purple this lap around. He's going to be doing all he can to take that lead away as soon as possible. Try and show the pace that he clearly has with some very, very strong form so far. He's got a car going slowly in the background. That's Dylan Graham, who's lost quite a lot of time here. He's had some sort of issue when racing some of his rivals, but up at the front, Lewis still leads Davison, who leads Richardson and Sandover. Sandover pushing Richardson along there in the 23 car, trying to work with the number 7 for Phoenix Motorsports and try and reel in those top 2, who at the moment look to be breaking away just a little bit in this race. Matt Pulio in the number 5 for Fast Tournament Racing, trying to get involved in this little scrap as well. Maybe he can work with the 2 ahead of him to try and reel in the leaders. But up at the front, Davison, will he go for the lead? He's going to the outside again. Lewis defends the inside line. Lewis again is going to break on the absolute limit of grip. He gets it just about into the corner. Davison will look and try and make the move to turn 2. He's going to have to go to the outside though. There's not going to be much grip out there. He's going to have to keep it pinned, try and find some momentum from that higher groove. He's now going to look to the outside as they now go into the final couple of corners. We are getting to the halfway point of stage 1. Davison really pressuring Lewis for the lead. Where will he go on this occasion? Will he go inside? Will he go outside? He's going to look to the outside. He's almost faked it to the inside, but he just commits to the outside on this occasion. Lewis braking so late into that first corner, giving Davison a great chance on the switchback. And it's a switchback he's going to be able to pull off. He's got his nose on the inside as they go into turn 2 now. Davison on the inside in the 57 car. Lewis on the outside. He's going to have to surely give up this position. There's contact. Davison's ran wide. He gets it back on the racetrack. They bang doors again through the final couple of corners. It's Davison racing Lewis. Richardson, Sandoval and Pulio all back in this fight for the lead. Who is going to come out on top here? They're side by side going to the first corner. Lewis on the outside. He breaks impossibly late. Surely he can't make the corner. He does though. Lewis gets out front here. Davison having to fight back to get into the fight for the lead. He's still in second, but now there's Richardson, Pulio and now Sandoval all in this fight as well as they battle over fourth place here. But up at the front, Davison pushing so incredibly hard to try and take this lead away from Lewis. So they make their way out of the final corner and onto the home stretch once more. Will he go to the inside? He's looking to the inside line. Looks like he's going to try and make something happen, but Richardson's on the outside of him. Richardson's now going to try and make the move for second place. Davison has to leave for him. He gets the move done though. He's going to stay up in second position, or is he? Davison really having to struggle there to try and block that move off from Richardson. He's looking for any tiny gap, as Pulio has got a head in the background there. As we look further down the field, with a few stragglers back off the order. Mills has had some sort of issue here. John Mills had a problem. Little Graham's dropped back a little bit off the back, but we still have just the 2 cars on the count there for John Mills being way off the pack. So at the moment we are at 2 out of 3, and we're getting to the point now on this stage where we cannot have any more cautions, so it's going to be on the limit when they get there. Ashton Lewis now got almost tell off a second lead. Could Davison be backing off a little bit to try and maybe grow that gap, to try and build then some momentum so that when he does get back to the rear of that pink and white number 11 car, that he can just fly straight past him? He's going to have to really make sure he gets this right, as Pulio is going down the inside in the background of Richardson, trying to make something happen here. Not quite able to do it this time. Richardson on the outside carries more momentum off the outside. Oh, we've got a spinner in the background. There's crashing in the background. Who is that? It looks like it's Driscoll and Elmery in the background. And the caution is going to come out here. The caution is going to come out. We're going to have a sprint to the finish here in this stage. The caution is out. The yellow is out here. And we're back under safety car conditions. Lewis versus Davison. They're going to have another chance at doing battle for victory here. The field will be bunching up now as we see John Mills in the pack of the pack. He's making his way through here to go on board with the number 23 car, I want to say, but I could be wrong on that. No, it isn't the 23, it's 32, sorry. No, it's one of the 2. He's going to catch the pack here. Will we be able to go green this time? I think we will. We are indeed going to go green this time. Once again, we are going to have a 4-lap sprint to the finish. Lewis on the inside goes very early and gets the jump on the whole field. Lewis diving into the first corner. Davison in second, trying to make something happen here, but he's not been able to get the restart he needs. Pulio, as there's contact in the back, Pulio trying to reel in as the top 4 have sort of spread themselves out just a little bit here. Lewis leads the way though, with just 3 laps left in this stage at the end of this one. Lewis leads by just almost 4 tenths of a second. They make their way through the very heavily banked final corner here at the BB Raceway. It's Lewis, leads Davison, leads Richardson, leads Pulio, leads Sandoval across the line here in the Japan 150. Stage 1 is just a few moments away from coming to an end, and Lewis looks to be in control here. Davison pushing as hard as he can, but that 57 Chevrolet not looking like it quite has the pace, as Lewis in the number 11 car continues to just edge that gap out a little bit bigger and a little bit bigger with 2 laps left in the stage. This could get interesting. Can Davison get a big enough run to try and make something happen? Or has Lewis just stepped up his game to a little bit of a higher level and something that Davison at the moment is unable to match there in the 57? We've got the 7 of Richardson behind them as there's tyre smoke in the background. It sounds like someone's gone around because we've got some sort of drama in the back of the field here. And it looks like it's Carlo Durante who's had a problem here, and he's gone around in the first corner as he tries to get his car going again. Having some trouble there. He will not score stage points here. It's Lewis though who leads Davison, and that gap has come down drastically. 2.5 tenths. Davison still just a bit too far back as we start the final lap of stage 1. Lewis just has to keep it clean here. Surely he has got this stage 1 victory if he just keeps it on the road. Davison right on the back of him, doing all he can to take this stage win away. But Lewis in control so far. Is he going to keep up the winning ways that he's demonstrated so brilliantly in this season so far? Will it be yet another stage win for Aston Lewis as he makes his way out of the final corner? Aston Lewis, the number 11 car for Phoenix Motorsports, is going to win stage 1 here in the Japan 150. It's Davison in second, Richardson in third, Pulio in 4th, and 5th. The fun stage point goes to Scott Sandover there for Funny F1 Racing, with George Hassart just missing out ahead of Seb Mills, who recovered up to 7th, then Alfonso Silva, then Ben Driscoll, and Julius Gassner rounds out the top 10 in stage 1. An exciting first stage there. Drama all the way through the field, but up at the front in particular, very exciting. Aston Lewis taking victory there. Started on the pole finishes in first place. Perfect race there. Perfect stage 1 for Aston Lewis, as he will now look to try and keep up that form as we go into stage 2 here. Slightly longer stage 2, 25 laps long. Should pose a different challenge to these drivers. More time for a caution, of course, but also more time for drivers to make mistakes. And also more time for drivers to make up for those mistakes, to try and capitalise on each other's problems and weaknesses here as we go into stage 2. Just going to have to wait for all the drivers to get ready for this second stage. Couple more drivers have to wait for them to enter. At the moment, they are Pulio and Sandover. Someone is missing. Oh no, Carlo was missing. That's why. So just wait for those three to enter. So that is Pulio, Sandover, and Carlo. Just quickly say enter, please. By the time I've done this, they've probably already entered. Sandover has. The other two have not. Let's see, and that's Pulio who's loaded in now. Just wait for Carlo Durante, and he has as well. So we can get stage 2 underway here in the Japan 150, round 3 of the season. Let's go and spectate here. The drivers make their way around the formation lap, I believe. Yep, just getting underway here. Just wait for those to get around the final corner. The field just getting bunched up here for stage 2 to begin. We have to wait for the final cars to get in position. As Julius had an issue there just ahead of us in the car Durante. And we will be green this time again. And we go racing in stage 2. Lewis on the inside immediately moves up to cover off Davison as they dive into the first corner. Davison immediately slots into that second position as it all breaks a little bit crazy in the background as we've got a car all the way off the apron as Davison looks to the inside of Lewis. They bang doors through turn 2. Davison takes the lead away from the number 11 car. He's going to have to defend now from Lewis. They go into the final corner. Lewis has not had that lead taken away from him for very long so far today. I imagine he won't want to change that. He's on the back of the 57 car. Will he look to the inside? Will he look to the outside? He dives it to the inside. Will he go up the inside? He will indeed. He brakes later, but he can't make that move stick. That's going to give Richardson the chance to take away second, and he does. Pulio's going to get up into third. Lewis has gone from bad to worse for him. Pulio up into third place. That means that Lewis drops into the lead all the way down to 4th place in this second stage. It's already looking like a very different stage here today. Richardson already dropping back almost out of slipstream, if not already out of slipstream range of Davison. He needs to speed this thing up, otherwise he is going to struggle to have any chance at victory here in stage 2. Richardson into the first corner, Pulio right on the rear bumper of him, but they bang the wall on exit. They'd have to find some pace here as Pulio to the inside of Richardson as there's drama in the background. We've already got a car around. Who is that? It's Driscoll again. Ben Driscoll with more problems in this race. Davison out front by 1.1 seconds. Pulio all the way onto the apron on the inside there. Surely that's going to be a risky place to come back onto the track. He's going to drop down to 4th, 5th now. Now he's going to have to defend from George Hassart in the zero quality racing car. Making their way down the main straight. Back up at the front, Davison with a huge lead out front. Richardson looking to try and make something happen here. Lewis all over the back of him. I imagine they'll try and sort of work together here to reel in the race leader. Richardson pushing as hard as he can, but Lewis right on the back of him. Try and bump their way up to the leader. Oh, got a bit of rock in the back. got a big wreck in the back of the field here. Who is involved in that? That one looks like it's Carlo Durante, and someone else gone around, and it was Julius Gassner. So we are going to throw the third caution of the day, and that will reel in Davison's lead that he's worked so hard to get. Is gone with a wreck at the back of the field. And here we go, they're just reeling in the leader, beginning to slow down, and they back off the pace now. We won't green this time. There's a couple of cars at the back here that are quite a way away from catching up. So we'll have another lap under caution here. We're going to chance to see these great race cars preparing for more mayhem to come in today's race. So we will be green this time here in the Japan 150 Stage 2. Lap 7 going into lap 8 of 25 here. Davison versus Richardson on the front row. Two drivers who aren't the best of friends, to say the least. Going to be racing each other into the first corner. Davison will want a clean restart like Aston's been able to do pretty much all day today. They're side by side, getting ready. And we are back to racing speed here in the Japan 150. Into the first corner they go. Richardson immediately having to defend from Lewis in second place. Davison gets out front as there's cars on the wall in the background. Cars spinning in the background. That looks like Elmer Sala who's gone around. The rest of the pack looks like they've kept it in the right direction. Another car's been caught up in that. And that is actually, that's Julius Gassner who's been involved. Elmer actually seems to like he's been able to survive that. So one car involved already. He's got drama in the mid-pack here. But up at the front, it is Davison ahead of Lewis, ahead of Sander Richardson. Then it is George Hassart with Johnny Mills recovering up into 6th place here. As we've got lots of drama here early on in this race. You see them racing their way through the mid-pack here. Look at it, it's 2 by 2 by 2 here. It's crazy racing in the middle of this pack. We're going to crash. Who's that? A car across the racetrack. Multiple drivers. It's Carlo and it's Matt Pulio. And the caution is going to come out again here in the Japan 150. Multiple cars involved in this incident. And we're going to go back to yellow flag situation as Lewis, meanwhile, has taken the lead of the race and is back out front where he has been, well, for most of the day so far. Don't know quite what happened there as they made their way down into the second corner. You can see there Julius Gassner put on a bit of a show for us as he tries to catch back up to the pack here. And if he gets there soon, he should be able to see the field go green this time. And we will indeed go green this time, back up to racing speed. They roll through the front corner and he has crashed on his way to catching the field. That's sort of his own problem, really, so not going to wait for that. We are racing again here in the Japan 150. Aston Lewis had a huge jump again as the field makes their way across the start-finish line. They fan out into the first corner. A 9-3 left-hander. It's Davison. Then it's Richardson who's got Carly to the background. The track is blocked. Multiple cars around. And the caution is immediately going to come out here. As look at the amount of drivers caught up in this. We've got Julius. We've got George. We've got Seb Mills, we've got Dylan Graham, Ben Driscoll, Elmer Salo, Afonso Silva, and Matt Pulio, who was involved in the very most recent caution. He's back up into 7th place here after he seemingly managed to somehow make his way through that wreck, along with Carlo Durante and several others here. As you've got a bit of drama here as Mills trying to move position. Perhaps looks like there might be some problems going on. I'm not sure really. The middle of the pack just trying to get themselves in order. As George Hassart, a shame for him. Having such a great run here in this race so far. Down in 14th, driver who's a bit of an underdog. And now in a spot of bother. Down in 14th, we'll see now what he can do. As Johnny Mills has just checked out in the front of the field, he is obviously typing game chat. So we won't be able to go green this time. He'll return to position when he exits AI mode, that is. So this caution will be extended here. Oh, Jono's got connection issues by the looks of things. What's going on here? What is going on with Jono's car? Slowed it back down now. So we'll let him rejoin the field here. Lewis and Davison here up front. Getting ready for today's event. halfway through it really now. We're just approaching half distance. Lap 20 of this stage will be half distance. And we'll be going back to green flag racing this time. They bunch up through the final couple of corners. It's Lewis and Tyler on the front row here. Aston Lewis, Tyler Davison. 11 and 57, Lewis going very high here off the banking, and he goes racing once more here. Lewis with another great jump, trying absolutely every trick in the book to get these good restarts. Lewis leads into turn 1, ahead of Davison, and then comes Sandover and Richardson side by side. The 11 back out front here today. Davison trying to gain some ground as they go through turn 2, side by side racing for third. But that looks like John O'Mills trying to get back involved in some racing here after his issues under caution. He's got back up to speed and is now racing with both Sandover and Durante. Durante trying to make something happen here. One of the pre-qualifying cars, one of the B Motorsport cars, just like Tyler Davison, who's up at the front. Maybe he can get involved. They're free wide. He's going to dive it down the inside. That's a bold move. They bang wheels into the first corner. They're all checking up. Julio's lost a lot of ground. Mills, Jono that is now racing with Elmery Sarlo for 6th position, as Durante up to 5th place now, which is one of the stage point positions. Is up at the front. It looks like Lewis and Davison might well have just checked out here in this second stage. Looks like Richardson and Sandover, the 7 and 23 cars, trying to keep up with all. We've got a wreck in the background. Big crash coming off the final corner. 2 cars at least involved. It looks like just the 2, or is there more? Jono Mills, and there's 3 cars involved. Elmery's been caught up in it, and there's going to be another caution here in this race. Big wrecks happening here up and down the field as Lewis is out front. The caution is out once more in the Japan 150, a race filled with drama and chaos. Certainly not been a boring race to watch so far. Davison and Lewis, the 2 drivers out front. Phil's just beginning to stack back up again here, ready for the restart. I think Aston Lewis is running a Sebastian Vettel tribute helmet. Should we go on his in-car? Let's see. We can't see, wonderful. I think it is. If you look through the windscreen, it looks like it is. I can't tell. Maybe I'm... Oh, that's a bit of lag there. So we've still got a car yet to catch the field. Jono Mills is still yet to catch up, so we won't be able to go green flag racing this time. So we're still under caution here. We'll not be going green flag. Still yellow. As now Jono Mills getting himself into position. And we can go green this time at the end of lap 18. There'll be 7 laps left, which means there'll be 3 laps with a chance for another caution before the 4 laps of racing remaining required for a caution will come. Side by side out front, Lewis and Davison. We're seeing this duo up front once again here. The pack behind trying to make something happen. What will happen in the final 7 laps of stage 2? Lewis leads them into turn 1 once again. Across the line they go. Lewis leads Davison, leads Sandover and Richardson, who are side by side behind. Richardson comes up the racetrack just a little bit into Sandover's rear left. Looks like they get a single file out though, as Davison and Lewis out front here as there's drama at the back here. Looks like that's Ben Driscoll again with dramas in this race. Not his day so far in the Dom Motorsport car at the back of the pack, as Lewis leads ahead of Davison still. It'll sound like a broken record at the end of this race here. More drama at the back of the pack it looks like. I can't tell, a few cars have dropped off the back of the pack, but they all look to be still running pretty much fine. So, oh, there's a crash in turn 1. Who's that involved? That is, I believe, I can't see. Who is it going to be? Look like they're getting going again though. It is Carlo Durante, which is a shame for him. He's had a really good run in this race so far. So he has had a spin down in the first corner. So that's a problem for him there. I believe we're at 2. But at the end of this lap there'll be no more caution. So out the front it's Lewis and Davison. Davison with a huge run through turn 1 there. That's a massive run as he comes out of turn 1 into turn 2. He's going to look to the outside, try and make something happen here. So they go into the kink to the right now. Davison all over the back. That's right with driver's eye here for Tyler Davison. As they make their way through the final one. This gives you an idea of what these drivers see making their way through the banking. He's going to look to the inside. Oh, that's a brave move. Fits his car down the inside as they make their way towards the first corner. Side by side for the lead. Davison on the inside of Lewis. They break for turn one. You see them banging wheels on the edge of grip. As they go through the first corner, they're banging of wheels once more here. Davison on the inside of Lewis, and he's got the lead away from him. Davison out front once more here in the Japan 150. Lewis drops into second, but they've got a fairly safe gap behind unless they start really battling even harder than they have been already. No more cautions in this stage. It's Lewis, Driscoll, and Sandver and Richardson, with Silver rounding out the top 5 at the moment in this second stage here. Let's see how this one plays out. Just 3 laps remaining. Lewis 3 tenths back from the number 57 car out front, trying to find a way to reel back in to that Turismo Sport racing car ahead of him. But he's dropping back more and more here. He needs to try and build a bit of a run to have a chance at taking this stage win away from him. It's going to be close. Will he be able to do anything here as they go through turn 1 again? Look at Lewis, the grip he is having to use. He's using all the inside apron there. He's trying absolutely everything to try and find some extra speed, but he's just dropping further and further back here from Tyler Davison, who's putting in a stellar few laps to stretch this pack out front and really flexing his muscles here as we get ready for 1 lap remaining in stage 2. It is Davison ahead of Lewis for this stage 2 victory. Gap still almost 6 tenths of a second, growing as they go out onto the banking. Lewis is, if anything, going to be under more pressure on Sandover than he will be pressuring Davison ahead of him. The 57 car for Bune Motorsport. Are they going to get their first stage win of the season? And Tyler Davison makes his way around the final corner now. And Tyler Davison will win stage 2 of the Japan 150. Lewis takes second, Sandover third. Fourth will go to Richardson, with fifth going to Afonso Silva, who takes the final final stage point for Dalton Autosport there, with Matt Pulio just missing out in 6th place. Then it is George Hassart, John Mills, Julius Gassner, and then Carlo Durante rounds out the top 10 here in the second stage of the Japan 150 here at the BB Raceway, and a track that so far in this race has not disappointed. We've had absolutely everything so far. Just got to wait and see when the rain arrives. As now, that's a joke. If anyone wondering, there isn't actually rain coming. Don't panic. As you see Tyler Davison there winning stage 2 here for Bune Motorsport, a new team, relatively new team, trying to make something happen here. As I said, going into this race, bottom of the team standings, they needed a good day, and so far they are getting just that here. Give these drivers a chance to save the replays if they choose to do so. Give them a few moments for that, and then we will edit the event settings and put on the stage 3 settings. The sky will get a little bit darker, the track will probably get a little bit grippier, but the length will get quite a bit longer here. 35 laps in the final stage, over halfway through. And we'll now change the event settings. Hopefully they've all had time to have a quick look for everything. So just wait for everyone to enter. Ask them to, so they know what they need to do. Soon we'll see the final stage of the Japan 150 here in NASCAR GT Season 6. Everyone is now entered. And we can get stage 3 underway here. Let's get ready for the final 35 lap stint here in this race. One that has been filled with drama and great racing up at the front. I look forward to seeing who will come out on top in this one here. Just getting ready. The sun is really starting to come down now, which means the shadows will grow over this racetrack. Be nice for some pictures, I'll give you that. It'll be very nice for pictures here. As you can see, the cars just coming around the final corner there to start the formation lap. They'll get themselves into the correct positions, and then we will get ready to go racing. As they begin to get themselves into the correct position, Davison will start on the pole for this final stage. Just waiting for someone missing in 4th place there. Missing Richardson, I believe it is. Where's Richardson gone? There he is. He's the back in that grey and green car, trying to make his way up the order. Bold move to the inside there. And we should be ready to go green this time here. The final stage is mere moments away. I hope you're all as excited as I am. This is going to be an exciting one for sure. Davison on the inside, Lewis on the outside. 35 laps remaining in this race. We are racing in stage 3 of the Japan 150. Davison gets a good jump as they're 4 wide in the background. Davison with a slide. Davison with a huge moment through turn 1. Lewis is going to get a chance to make the move for the lead, and he does. Richardson's on the outside trying to capitalise on it as well. Sandover in behind, so is Afonso Silva. As this top 5 is broken away, as the midfield appears to have just lost all hope of trying to catch this lead within half a lap. But up at the front, Davison had a huge moment going through the first corner. He must have had contact from behind there to have the slide that big, but it's cost him 2 positions here, and immediately he's on the attack down the inside of Richardson. Not to make it work as Sandover, where's he going? That was very late on the brakes, and no wonder that he wasn't able to make anything happen there. He was way too late on the brakes. There's drama in the background as we've got a car going all the way to the inside. Who is that at the back of the pack? It's Elmer Salo. But a problem here, so we got our first incident of the final stage. But up at the front, it's Lewis ahead of Richardson, ahead of Davison here, out front. It's going to be good here. So it's already got a car off the banking there, like on the mini-map, with a problem here. As let's look further down the order. That is indeed Julius Gassner. He's had a problem. He's going to be passed by Elmer Salo. So that's 2 cars now with issues in this second stage. And that's another one, and the caution is going to come out here. Another driver around out of turn 1, and the caution is out. Who was that? It was Joe Mills, the part owner of Mills Kevern Racing. His part owner, team owner, sort of teammate, I suppose, as well. His everything, really. Kieran Kevern isn't racing here today. Sadly not going to be able to race this week. So he'll be hoping that it's a pretty crazy race, because he's going to miss out on a lot of points not racing this week, so could do with an unexpected result, hopefully not affect his position too much. But equally, maybe an unexpected result is not what he wants. Maybe an unexpected result could lock someone into the playoffs that he doesn't want to be in the playoffs. So really is a tough situation when you miss a race. Just got to hope for something to go right. It's hard to really pinpoint what right is, but as long as it's right, it's good. Yes, up at the front, Davison and Lewis out front here. Davison managed to work his way back to the lead through all that carnage, it looks like, as they're side by side, making their way down the front straight, and they're racing again here in the Japan 150. Already there's some contact in the back of the pack as they make their way back up onto the racing line. Davison, there's contact, around goes Lewis, he holds it somehow, as there's carnage in the background. Driscoll's got around with at least 1 car around it, Carlo Durante. Driscoll looks like he's managed to hold it, but up at the front it's Davison, Adam Lewis, Adam Richardson, and it's side by side for 4th place here between Afonso Silva and Scott Sandover. Then it is behind them, it's Seb Mills in the number 4 car ahead of Elmer Salo, and then Matt Pulio in 8th place here, trying to just take home some decent points in this race. Not been their day at Fast Formula Racing. We've got another spinner. Who is that that's gone around? It is Julius Gassner. So that's 2 cars now with incidents in this second stage. Oh, they crashed getting back going again. That will probably be reported by Carlo after this race for an unsafe rejoin. And I wouldn't be surprised if the stewards do indeed penalise that. That did look a bit questionable. But Davison out front. He is rocketing away out front here in this race. He just seems like he's got pace over the field, which is something you don't often see on a speedway like the BB Raceway. But that's the thing. There was a new aero package brought in for this season after the, what can maybe called mess that was the Blue Moon 200, where it was just utter carnage all race long. The admins in the league decided that the slipstream was too powerful on tracks like BB Raceway and Blue Moon Speedway. So we've got a crash in the back. Who is that? It is Conyer Bulls, Dylan Graham there, and Ben Driscoll, and the caution is going to come out again here. 4 cars going around, so caution is out indeed. And there we go, the cars will slow down again, and Tyler's lead will be brought in. But after that race being quite messy, they decided that the slipstream should probably be reduced to try and reduce the chance of these big pack crashes happening. And basically meaning that the cars perhaps spread out a bit more, meaning that there's less chance for incident. Still allows for great fun racing, but without putting drivers where they shouldn't be, let's be honest, where you gain a second a lap from the slipstream before, now you gain 3/10 a lap from the slipstream. So it means that you have to you still have to be quick to be at the front. You have to have that raw pace underneath everything to be able to run up at the front. I think that's showing in this race. Davison, the fact that he's looking like he's able to break that slipstream out front shows that the slipstream advantage that is given to Aston Lewis in second place is not big enough that his pace is brought up to the speed at which Tyler's is. And Tyler, you have to say, fair play to him. He's doing a very good job in this race so far, just managing the pace. So we will go green this time. Davison and Lewis on the front row again. Richardson in third, looking to try and maybe cause some trouble here in this final stage. 25 laps to go. Get ready, everyone. Davison on the inside, Lewis on the outside. We are back to racing speed here, and Lewis with a huge jump there. There must have been some contact behind him. Davison is going to get back out front here as they dive into the first corner. Davison goes a little bit wide. Lewis in a big slide again. Oh, but he's crashed. Lewis has gone around. The championship leader is spinning, and they're all wrecking through the first corner here. That's what happens when a car goes around at the front of the field. On a restart like that, the whole field's get caught up in it. Scott Sandover, another one of the front runners today, is caught up in it. So Aston Lewis has been up at the front all race, all season. He's down into 11th. Ben Driscoll, he's had an up and down day. Elmer Salo, same for him. Scott Sandover, he's around the top 5 for most of the race. He's been caught up in it as well. 2 big names in this race so far have just been wiped out of contention. But at least for now, we've seen already that you can make up places in this race. But still, it's going to be no mean feat for those guys to get back up in to the front of the field. Davison and Richardson up front now. Richardson are going to try and do something that, well, Lewis haven't been able to do, which is try and pass Tyler for that lead. Behind them it's Silver and Mills. Seb, that is. Seb Mills ahead of then his brother, Jono Mills. As we will not be green this time, as there's a little car catching up at the back of the pack. Scott Sandover will be here actually, so we can go green this time. Davison versus Richardson. 57 versus 7. Who will come out on top here? And we are back to racing speed. A huge bump there. There's already someone going out of line, and that's one of the zero quality racing drivers. Well, living up to their name, quite frankly. They're going below the line well before the start-finish line there. But Davison out front by 8/10. There's another big wreck, and the caution again is going to come out here in the Japan 150. We've got up Pulio is involved. Driscoll again involved. John O'Mills involved, one of the drivers who gained from that previous wreck. Sandover now up into 10th place. Ellery up into 9th. Aston Lewis already up into 7th place here. Lots of positions to be gained in these dramatic conditions so far in this race. And I would not be surprised if we see some drivers quite unhappy after this race. And I think it shows that the real slipstream, the reduced slipstream I should say, is making a difference. And someone's been spun under caution there, so that will be a huge penalty to whoever did that. Because that is usually pretty much a safe sort of race ban, well not race ban, sorry, a safe disqualification for a driver if they do that, unless of course if it's unintentional, then you know it'll still be penalised quite heavily. But if it's unintentional, then you know accidents happen, and you won't be given that heavy a penalty. But if deliberately spin someone into caution, that is based on the precedent set by the stewards so far this season, would be a disqualification. As drivers just should not be showing that sort of level of aggression. Let the stewards deal with it. So now we see them getting ready to go back to racing speed. Davison versus Richardson out front. Silver on the inside there of Richardson as they go into the first corner. Richardson trying to hold on to that top 2 position. Silver on the inside trying to get away into second place. Not able to do anything. There's another spin in the background. That was Jono Mills who's gone around again. Up at the front, Davison pulling away. Got a big gap out front there for nearly 5/10 of a second over Richardson and then Silver. Seb Mills in 4th place ahead of Aston Lewis, is already up into 5th place. Looks to try and get another position here. A really tough day in the last few laps at least, but earlier he put up a massive show battling Davison. Now looking to try and get back up the order here, already up in 5th, which is already a huge gain that he's made after dropping all the way down to 11th. But 2 cars at the back seem to have had issues on this opening lap, so Julius and Jono have had problems on the opening lap here. But Davison out front and pulling away again here in a league of his own, really, is Tyler Davison today. He is looking all but, well, I'd say he's winner-elect, I think is the best way of putting it. As we now see, that's Seb Mills bumping Silver into the back of Richardson. They're going to go, all four of them, into that first corner, all single file behind them, not quite with the same attitude as we see the 2-0 quality racing cars coming to blows there, as that's dropped Dylan Gran well down the order. As now we see that's Ben Driscoll looking to the inside, I believe, of George Hassart, but not able to make anything happen there. You see these guys all battling so hard here. Matt Pulio's in the mix here as well. Ben Driscoll on the outside. Look at the contacts as they make their way through that flat out final corner, looking to try and find some room, just find somewhere to put the car, really. It's chaos back here in the mid-pack, but it's all for big points here as Driscoll goes around in a big way, and that's going to bring out yet another caution here in this race. You have to be careful through turn one, and especially on the exit, you have to be careful. And if you're not, that's what happens here, as the yellow flags fly once more in stage 3. Field bunching up once again here. Driscoll going to be the last car on the field. He will catch up in time, so we will be green this time. See him there, just catching up into the back of the pack. Davison on the inside, Richardson on the outside. 57 versus 7 once more. Who will be out on top here again as Davison with another huge jump out front. Silver looking to try and take second place away as they bang wheels in the background. Davison leads Richardson and Silver on the inside, trying to make something happen. Has a big slide though through the first corner. That's going to allow Aston Lewis to look to the inside there. Silver has to leave a space. Lewis already up into third place, recovering a lot of points in this race and showing why he is indeed currently the championship leader. His ability to recover from these sorts of situations is really being put on display here today. And now Lewis up into third place on the back of Richardson. Will he go for that position straight away, or is he going to try and work with the Phoenix Motorsport car and his teammate, of course? Oh, there's a contact from behind with Silver getting to the rear of Lewis there. Going through that first corner, looks like their sight went wrong there for him. Lewis in third, Silver right behind him. Will these guys work together? Will they try and reel in Davison, or will they just almost admit defeat in this race? But a 1.3 second gap out front already. Tyler Davison on another level in this race so far here. He's the only driver that's capable of getting out front here and pulling away. Lewis on the inside will get that position away from his teammate. Adam Richardson there drops back, and the number 7 car is now at the number 12 of Afonso Silva, right behind him. Another one of the pre-qualifying cars who's showing that they very much deserve to qualify in today's race. Trying to make something happen here. See the field flying through that final corner. The amazing speeds they are doing around this very small racetrack here in Japan. Lewis now have to try and do the impossible and reel in that lead that Tyler Davison has out front, but he's got help from behind. He's got a bump in theory from his teammate, but I mean at the moment it just doesn't look like Richardson quite has the pace to give that bump to Lewis, as Lewis sort of pulls away from Richardson a little bit. Tyler Davison pulling away from all of them out front. So yeah, really impressive stuff from Britain out in the lead of this race so far. Lewis in second place. I mean, first, second in the stages would still do a lot of work for his championship fight here. And whilst it wouldn't be the result he probably wanted coming out of this race, it would end the win streak, it would still be a very impressive series of races done by Aston Lewis in the number 11 car for Phoenix Motorsports. Carl Davison out front, 2.2 seconds clear, and continuing to grow that lead. The field is now beginning to separate here. See Silva dropping back from Richardson, Mills dropping back from Silver, then there's Sarlo and Sandover dropping back a little bit. Then we have George Hassart, who leads this sort of third pack of cars with John Mills here with him. Then there's Matt Pulio, as then we've got this final sort of group of cars being Dylan Gran, Carlo Durante, Julius Gassner, and then Ben Driscoll out at the back of the pack, all on his own at the moment, the one spinner we've had so far in this final stage. 10 laps remain here in stage 3. We're getting closer and closer to the finish of this race. Davison pulling away out front, ahead from Aston Lewis. And Adam Richardson trying to help his teammate, but it just doesn't look like there's anything anyone can do at the moment to reel in the rapid Tyler Davison out front here today. hear the sliding of tyres as they go through that first corner. On the limiter grip, Aston Lewis got into the wall a little bit. That won't help him at all. He tries to reel in Davison out front. So you see the speed of that car through the banking here. Let's just have a look at try and figure out where he's getting the speed. Let's analyse what Davison is doing out front here. As the pack is beginning to spread out, let's see what is the minimum speed he takes through this first corner. 98, I think I saw there. Let's see what Aston Lewis does. 100 and... oh, no, oh, well, there you go. He carried way more speed on corner entry and then paid the price for it on exit, so it just seems like Davison's managing the corner much better than everyone else is behind him. It seems that he's willing to maybe he's not pushing it, it's weird to say, but maybe the fact that he's out front on his own, not pushing that hard because he is the leader, is almost helping him through that first corner. So let's watch him again. Let's see what he does through this first corner here. Down 100, doesn't go up below 100 miles per hour on this lap. Lewis again, look at him, almost at 96 miles per hour, and look how much later it happens in the corner. Just, you can see there a real demonstration of the difference in pace and where that lap time is coming from Tyler Davison. Really, that's the only corner on this racetrack that makes a big difference, and you can see why. It's a tricky corner. You can see there just a perfect demonstration of where Aston Lewis is losing time to the race leader, to the car at the back of the pack that's got some sort of issue. That is still Ben Driscoll struggling in this race. And again, Tyler Davison demonstrating the pace. Let's see if Aston Lewis has discovered anything here. He uses that inside curb, but again, a slower minimum speed. Just doesn't seem to be managing that first corner as well as Davison is, and to be fair to Lewis, nobody in the field seems to be managing that first corner as well as Davison is at the moment. At least these two Phoenix Motorsport cars are now beginning to bump draft each other to close in to the leader, but I mean, still a huge gap out front between first and second here as we have 5 laps remaining here in the Japan 150. Seb Mills here in 4th, Alan Marie Salo in 5th there, in that Dale Earnhardt Jr., I believe, inspired livery there. Then behind them, it's Alfonso Silva, who was running up in 3rd place at a point in this race. He's dropped back quite a bit. But Scott Sander, one of those drivers like Lewis, who's had some unfortunate incidents in this race so far, and he now finds himself on the order. We are now at a point in this race where there will be no more cautions, so he'll be green to the end. Matt Julio up into the top 8 now, with John Mills, and then the 2 0-40 racing cars. At the moment, it's a shame there for George Hassart behind Dylan Graham. George put in a really strong first couple of stages, but it also unravelled midway through the race, and since then he's struggled a little bit there as you see him drifting through the first corner behind them, as they see Julius Gassner is going to get past the pair of them there, as Ben Driscoll in the one car well off the pace. Out front, Tyler Davison with almost a 5-second lead here over Aston Lewis and Adam Richardson. Tyler Davison in a league of his own out here, just cruising through the field. You see there, that's Ben Driscoll letting him through. Very nice of Ben to make that a nice and easy move for the race leader, not getting in the way, not causing any trouble. Good decision. So now, just 2 laps remain in the Japan 150, and Tyler Davison, utterly dominant. This is very much the Tyler Davison of old, the Tyler Davison that has won so many races in NASCAR GT. He's had his dramas and controversies along the way, but, well, who hasn't in NASCAR GT? A lot of these drivers have had some sort of drama over their career. Tyler Davison, perhaps more than the average person, but as now they get ready to come around the final corner. The white flag appears in the distance. Tyler Davison, 1 lap remains in the Japan 150. Will this be the return of the great Tyler Davison, one of the true GOATs of NASCAR GT and Next Gen competition as a whole organisation? Davison leads the way through the kink now on the backstretch, now into the final couple of corners. He's been gone for a while, but now as he exits the final corner, the 57 car for B Motorsport, driven by Tyler Davison, is going to go back to victory lane. Davison wins in the Japan 150. Brilliant drive there as Aston Lewis will take 2nd, as Richardson takes 3rd there. Seb Mills just beats Almari Solo to 5th and 4th there. Then it's Alfonso Silva, Scott Sander in 7th, Matt Pulio will finish in 8th place, Johnny Mills in 9th. George Hassart trying to hold off Carlo Durante here for a top 10 finish, and he will, just about, as then comes Julius Gassner, with Dylan Graham taking 13th place, 14th, and the final points-paying position in this race today goes to Ben Driscoll, who will take 2 points home for Dalton Autosport. But there is your race winner, for the first time in a long time in NASCAR GT. Tyler Davison back in victory lane here. Let's look, when was his last victory? It came in the Season 4 race at the Maggiore Center layout, which, well, was a very, very long time ago. Should we try and find a date, shall we? Let's have a quick look. Let's look into the archives We need to look at the Season 4 calendar. When was the Maggiore Centre race? It was the 31st of January. Well, that's a long time ago. If you needed any proof, that's how long it's been since Tyler Davison has visited Victory Lane in NASCAR GT. A long, long time indeed. But now, one of the truly best drivers in NASCAR GT history is back in Victory Lane, and could that be the moment that he begins his challenge for this season's championship? He's now locked into the playoffs. Him, Aston Lewis, the two that have won so far this season. Who can stop those two? Today, they look like they're in a league of their own. Tyler Davison, of course, in a league above anyone else. Aston Lewis then in that sort of top 5 comfortably, even after drama, made his way all the way back up into second place. Those two at the moment look just a step ahead of the field. But, well, we're 3 races into the season. We're starting to get a picture of what we can expect this season. But still, there is a long way to go. We still have another 8 races in this regular season for these drivers to try and lock themselves into these playoffs. If you can't win, you can point your way in. But a win would be a nice, safe way of doing it, where you've got no worries at all. But that is it for today's race here in NASCAR GT, the Japan 150. I hope you all enjoyed it. But until next time, it is goodbye.